my name is LB, founder of Ghost Records, aka L Tough, aka Groove Chronicles. Got into this garage game about '97. A couple of hits you may remember. Kick started it off, like some Stone Cold, Myron, Masterclass, blah blah blah. Anyone that was raving back in the garage days will remember the name. Now, what things have moved on to is a little more different. So I'm gonna take you through this track, cutting edge garage two-step track, and show you how we put this little thing together. Okay, so what you got is as you can hear, it's a dub feel on that. So let me break this down to you. Very simple what we did. You have a rebirth of an old a rebirth of an old drum and bass sample CD. Jungle Warfare probably spark a lot of memories of. Now what we've done with this is we've filled it out with the flickers, as we call it, keeps it riding. So it's kick, snare with the fills in between. Right, you hear that? Now what we've done is, your sub is obviously someone's grooved over the beat and came up with, very simple, bam, 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 bam. Okay, that's your spine line of it, that's your main groove. You can get sub from almost anywhere, you know, it's a GM sound, you know, a sine wave played on a lower end, of course. You compress it, we've compressed it, you know what I mean? Compressed it on the top end to squash it down so we can push the level right up. Alright, that means you get more volume before the speaker starts to do this. Very important in a club. Back in the day I used to watch the speakers start to do this when they played my tracks, because we didn't really know what the hell compression was in those days. And you've got your average, you've got your regular, you know, judger as we call them. Now anyone will be able to hear that's a quick sax riff on a delay with some reverb stuck on it. From what I remember, it's a basic, if you can get in on that, it should be a basic Cubase SX plugin. I think this came with it. I'm not too technical minded. I never actually built this computer. That's one thing that's always astonished people about me. I don't know nothing about computers. And I think the same with the delays. As your delay, your left speaker's there, your right speaker's there. You can have it going left, right, or left and right simultaneously together. I just turned up the feedback. Goes on for about 8 bars. And so on and so on and so on. Together with your sound effects, your bass, and your beat pacing away, you have the 3 main elements which you need in a track. And if your groove is on point, you should need nothing more than that. You know? The technique is to have one track open with the delay constantly on it. Then any sounds you select and you play with, straight away you'll know what it sounds like with delay and how much potential you've got to use it in that track. We got about 3 on this channel, no more. 2-note lick of an electric guitar. Anything, you know, you smack it once and it's gonna just go. It's gonna go on and on and on. So that's what you got. All these tracks, so that I can load up the track and everything comes out straight away like that. I want it all to be audio. So what we've done is, from the modules, if you come over here, everyone's seen a 2080. Because it's very basic, you know, it's not any sort of amazing sound. It's a regular sound, it's just the way we've done it. So, you know, you've got your 2080 and sometimes the Proteus or whatever, but mostly, you know, because it holds 8 sound cards, that'll be an essential. It's been an essential in the studio for years. It gets played from there, and as soon as it's on the computer sounding good, it gets recorded as audio into the computer with the effect on it. So really and truly, these channels are mostly dry. They haven't really got they just got compression on them. They got compression on all these channels, no effect. Everything's been pre-recorded in. That way, what it's also doing is saving processing power on my computer, because I don't have to have a delay and a reverb open on every channel. So let's move on to another one I got here is just to run with the sound effects, the dub stuff. That's a one step. Give you a little demo what it sounds like. And sound once again is from the 2080. The only reason why it sounds organic is because obviously you've got delay and reverb on there, which butters it up, of course. And the way the sound has been played, that is a regular mute. That is a regular guitar mute, like a GM guitar mute sound. You know, dang, 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 real tight guitar plug. And the way it's been played is just the way you hit that chord, and because it's all got that reggae feel, it all comes together, man. It's nothing amazing. It's nothing amazing at all. Let's move up, see what else we've got. Same thing again, just to butter it up. We've got a gunshot in there. That's been recorded with a bit of delay on it as well, because when you lick a one gunshot, when you hit the gunshot in the tune without it, it sounds very blunt. What else we got? Basically, you know, any dance music you'll have an effect on something to butter it up. That's just the same thing again on another channel. I think because of the frequency on it needs to be EQ'd differently, so we haven't put it on the same channel with the other reggae sound effects. And that's it. You got the long ones, the deck guitar pluck there, gunshot there, and Mr. Yardy.
You know them one blood them with Joan.
And that's the elements. It's very, very basic. People are very astonished when they listen to Ghost Records, Groove Chronicles. You may be able to hear it a little bit more. The basicness, the stuff that we're not using. El Tough, it's all very complicated, deep sounding stuff with like a lot of depth in sound effects and bass lines and stuff, so people were quite astonished when they see what we do not use, that my Cubase is the old SX, the computer hasn't got much memory, and you know, I don't know nothing about computers, and I've got, you know, half a rack full of outboard gear. I use volumes, panning and EQ, and that's it. I'm very, very basic. I live by them rules. It's not what you got, it's how you're using what you got. You know what I'm saying? My stuff's always been like I like it that way. I like it that way. I've been into many studios with some serious stuff in there, which, you know, would be a treat for me to get my hands on, would be like a dream. You know, one piece of equipment is a car. You know what I'm saying? But the guy that's in control of all this stuff hasn't got no funk, he's got no soul in his bones, so he's not turning out nothing good. Do you know what I'm saying? I could get, and anyone that knows, you know, that knows what they're working with could get a groove going with 3 tracks there. You know what I'm saying? Something fantastic's going to do a dance floor in, and you know what I'm saying? When you check any good track, they're all very basic. You know, the hooks are significant and basic so that you've got a chance to learn it without hearing it 20 times, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so a song format would generally be verse, bridge, chorus. Verse, bridge, chorus. Middle 8, which would be the change. Take the song somewhere else, and then back to choruses again. They want to ram a few more choruses down your throat before the tune finishes, and you've got to get that done in about 3 minutes, 2.5 to 3 minutes. That's all the radio's going to play. And it'd be the same in garage. You've got literally a few elements, probably same in house, same in drum and bass. You've got a few elements only to play with. You've got to make them interesting for 5 minutes. You've got to keep it moving, and you've got to consider your 16s and your 8s, because somebody's got to try and mix it. Now, if you can get in on this screen here, what you've got is in a 140 BPM, you've got, I think it's, yep, 16 for the intro. Oh, it's all even, it's all symmetrical as I call it. 16 for the intro. Tune starts straight into bass. On the bass drop, I think you've got like 4 sets of 16, something like that. 16 again, break, change. On the second half of the track, when the bass drops in again from the mid break, you've got the change in bass. That's the same again. 4 sets of 16 and a little 8-bar outro. You can have a 16 outro. Depends how nice you want to be to the DJs, because some people are a bit long to mix out their tracks. And that's it really. You know, it's all 16s and 8s and 32 patterns. Dance music's fairly simple. That's how we arrange. We kind of try and stick to that formula so people get used to you for what you do. You don't throw people off too much, and you kind of go in, you mingle with the rest of the crowd as far as the club's concerned. Alright, check this out. That rolls for a bit and it flips into this. Somebody's going to say to me, how'd you do that bass? Where'd you get that bass sound? They always do. I suppose a little secret right here. I'll give you a quick blast, maybe confuse you. Let me show you what we did. Right, total mess. I'll show you what we did. Here you have a JP 8000. Everyone should know this keyboard. It was an old classic about 5 years ago or something. Now what we do is tune yourself up a nice tasty growl and record one note. And then if your bass line's going to change a note, record your other note. Maybe the third. Okay, you go back over here. You've recorded it into audio. Let's drag out one and lengthen it so you can see my note originally, what I recorded. Okay, it didn't even go all the way up. Whatever it is, that's the one I recorded. Now we trigger it. Because it's on audio, I can stretch out the track, obviously, anyone can, and see your wave, as big as you want it. And you can chop it where you want it, fade it in and out where you want it, reverse it where you want it. And just get them scissors out and just start chopping, 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 and moving around on a 1 bar loop. Move it around on a 1 bar loop. Have your beat going on a 1 bar loop and chop little segments around on a 1 bar loop, and you'll get a feel. And you get something nice on that, copy it over to a 2 bar loop. And, you know, make the second half. Or have it a 1 bar loop. Depending on how you groove it on the beat, you're going to have this. Show you the beat real quick. The old classic helicopter break, jungle break. We've slowed it down about 20 BPM and cut it different. Back to the bass. Solo the bass for you, so you now hear it. You know what I was talking about. There's a second note. My 2 notes. It's my 2 note bass line. Now what I did is I recorded it again. On the JP I recorded the same as what I recorded before, but on again I changed the sound. So I recorded 2 sounds from the JP computer. And it's obvious why I did that, so I can go from one to the other and bring in my hype and bring out my hype at will. So there you go, let me show you. That's the first one. And second. And you flip from one to the other at your leisure. And the only other advice for that is in your technique when you do tunes, don't hold back. If you have to go and drink a couple of beers to get wild, do your thing, don't be scared, just make it all loud and make it crazy. And yeah, turn the club inside out. I suppose that proves it's not what you got, it's how you play with what you got, do you know what I'm saying? So that's basically experimentation, I suppose, of taking it back to what a lot of people used to do when they first started and kind of forgot about it and don't do it too much these days. You know what I mean? First things first, when messing with R&B and soul tracks, it's got to be attractive. It's got to be melodic, attractive, emotional if possible. I never put this break together. There's somebody that's very sample based, a producer called Opus, a fantastic hip hop urban producer out of the UK, probably one of the best in my eyes that uses samples. Very American sound. Anyway, he's put this hip hop track together, but I heard the R&B in it. You get the point. Nice and slow. It's got a little groove. Okay, I won't go into writing songs because it's a whole new other story. But first of all, what I do on vocal recording is, now this is the main thing. This is the main thing. I do this every day because we have studio bookings every day, and they're 90% hip hop guys. And what I hear is I have trouble listening to all other UK hip hop because what I hear them doing is with their vocals, like for instance in the verses, they are tracking their verses through all the way through, doing them 3 times. That's a third. That's like, you know, 3 layers on top of each other. Then when you get to the chorus, how do you pump it up? How do you make it sound better? Do you know what I'm saying? So you got that same 3 layers on the verse, 3 layers on the chorus. What you want is one strong lead, with the backing coming in and out every now and then. And you just listen to a rap track from the States, and you know how they do it. And compressors, I don't know what they're doing out there with the compressors, but what we do is,
baby, did you know you got me under your thumb?
what I do is I use 3 elements on the vocals. First, I use a plugin called a vintage warmer. I advise going for it, but I'm sure there's many more that do a good job on vocals. You know what I'm saying? What the vintage warmer does is it raises up all levels. If she's got too much bass in her voice, it kind of raises up more the treble and the mid. If she's got too much in her voice, it raises up the other end to kind of compete, to compensate. So I'll put that on there first of all, and then it brings everything out louder. Now what we do is 1 compressor on the top end to limit it in case she goes too loud, and 1 compressor on the bottom end to push everything up into that limit. So you got 1 thing pushing it all up, and then 1 thing controlling it when it gets too loud. Okay, there you have like the quality that brings everything up, the compressor pushing it up to make it sound more strong and punchy, and the limiter on the top to control it. I might show you real quick. I think once again they're basic. This is the one that holds it, that pushes it up. This is the one that pushes it up from the bottom. I think it's a basic Cubase compressor. This is the vintage warmer. Anyone that's seen that will recognise that straight away. PSP vintage warmer, I think that's who they're made by, whatever. And the one to hold it down is an MDA dynamic. I think once again this is standard to the SX. And that is the only channel I use on it, the limiter. I leave it set standard and I bring the limiter down to squash it. So the final result will be,
Baby, did you know you got me under your thumb? Anything you need, just call on me and shall be done. I'll shower you with all of my love.
I put my beat at the top so it's out of the way. If you go down, it will go off the screen. That's cool because I want to look at the vocals. The lead. Now I suppose here is the same thing as I said with the rappers. The way they could be doing their thing with 1 strong lead. Their one will go all the way through. Hers stops at a certain point to make way for a backing if you hear the track.
Baby, did you know you got me under your thumb? Anything you need, just call on me, it shall be done. I'll shower you with all of my love.
The reason why I do that is because if you listen to, well, this is the way we want it, this is our choice for the song. We want it to be gliding across the lead, and then we've picked certain bits to come out in stereo with the extra backing on top, you know, and we need them separated for maybe a little bit of extra effect on that bit, so it lushens it up a little bit. So you're in and out, back and forward. You're concentrating on the lead ride, nice and clear, it's up front, and then every now and then it goes back to, you know, the stereo.
I ain't got much to give you, but all I have is yours. 'Cause I love your highs, respect your flaws. So I gladly open my heart and let your love come on in. Infatuation's over now, so let the loving begin. So I gladly open my heart.
Right. Now it gets a bit more professional. You got harmonies. It's making sure that your vocalist is on point. Extremely on point. If anything is out in a harmony, the ear is going to pick it up. Maybe the brain won't pick it up, but the brain is definitely going to say there's something not right there. And you have to go through each and every one, solo them to make sure that singing them on point. Get a keyboard out, press the keys if you have to tune it. Let's go through these harmonies. Once again, they're on different tracks. You want different EQs for those. The harmonies, you want them lighter, so you take out the bass.
So I gladly open my heart and let your love come on in. Infatuation's over now.
Okay, you hear there's more effect on there. Maybe you won't be able to hear it. There's more delay on there. It's lighter. The bass is taken right out, so it just comes in just behind.
So I gladly open my heart and let your love come on in.
Beautiful. You know, you keep her going on the lead with ad-libs over the top.
So I gladly open my heart. Let your love come on in, come on in. Infatuation's over now, so let the loving begin. 'Cause I'm in love for the very first time. I'm so elated that your love is mine. I try to fight it, but I'm in a spin.
And there you have it. It's fairly simple. Once again, it is fairly simple. You know, this bit, this part, that part, effects here, effects there. It's the whole complicated process of learning how to write a song. This bit is not complicated. It's making the song melody work, you know. Is it naff? Does it impress? The recording technique will be different for everybody. I like to put a vocalist through absolute hell. I want precision, as I said, so I like to put a vocalist through hell. You get professional vocalists in the studio and she'll tell you, let's go again on that one, I didn't get it, so, and maybe you may not hear it yourself. And you'd be, was that bad? She'd be like, yeah, that's bad, let's come again. That's a professional. But when you haven't got that, it's all up to the producer. I think a producer's job is to, you know, be able to put the whole package on the table to the point where, you know, the vocalist is just, you know, a pretty face and a hot voice. Do you know what I'm saying? You are, you know, obviously collecting all the publishing on that, and that's a real producer. You've got to be able to do a great beat, then have the vision of the song, and you know, the melody's got to work, and you've got to have word knowledge, you know what I'm saying? You know, write a half-decent lyric, which is not that important these days, is it? Let's face it. Finishing off, finalising, mastering up. I found myself doing it as I go along. It's annoying for me to have a sound that I'm not quite sure if maybe I'm going to put that sound in the tune or I'm just playing with it or something. It's annoying for me to have it at the wrong volume. Even if a guy's, you know, if my friend's here and I say, hey, checking out some sounds or whatnot, and they're playing too loud or they're playing too quiet, it's annoying me. So I'll set the level as soon as I hear something, even if we're just playing with it. So basically what you find is by the time you get to the end of the track, you've kind of leveled up everything as you're going along. And back in '97 when I first started, when I had like one of my first or second hit out and I was still a rookie, I met MJ Cole at a photo shoot for the Face magazine once, and I was not sure if I was meant to mention other magazines, and I said to MJ, apart from nice to meet you, blah blah blah, let's get straight to the point. Why do when they play one of my tracks in Twice as Nice, before they play one of your tracks, the volume comes up rapidly, and it, like the clarity when it goes into your track is just, I can hear everything. Mine's all big bass muffled and it's making the speaker bins move. He said what I do is I don't, when I create tracks and I'm mixing down, I don't apply EQ. He said I have my levels all up fairly loud so you can hear everything. If you just got a little tinkle in the background, don't be scared of it. Why play it if you're going to be scared of it? Turn it all up, make everything clear for starters, and I don't apply any EQ. I leave everything mostly flat. And I was like, whoa, okay, I didn't ask why or anything, I'm just taking it in. He said, if anything, what I may do is edge the bass off a tiny bit to give you more volume in mastering, and if you want extra bass after, they can apply that in the mastering suite. And I may touch the treble, which can be a dangerous mistake, which I used to do, is turn my treble up too much and you know, find it tearing your ear out on a half decent speaker. So basically that'd be my advice passed on to anybody else really. Get your levels up all nice and clear, make sure everything's loud but not too loud, make sure everything's heard, and leave everything mostly flat. Because if you're not messing with samples, if you're playing stuff out of the equipment, or you're playing stuff from the sound cards, basically playing sounds yourself, the levels should be already set from the moment they come out. But when they release the box from the factory, all the levels are set nicely. So if you leave the EQs flat, you'll find all the levels are like generally, you know, they're nice. If you start applying treble and stuff, then you've got to split your channels and you're playing a different game, because EQing takes years to learn. You know what I'm saying? I've been in this game since '97. I think we had our first record out '96, and I was making music from a couple of years before that. And it's 2007 now. You do the math. I'm 30 years old, and only in the last couple of years I've learned how to really, you know, mix down some stuff that I could say, you know, that's going to sound great on Kiss FM, or it already sounds like Kiss FM when you're listening to the CD. Back in the garage days, what we collected from it wasn't put into flashy cars and stuff. I put it into building 2 studios. There's another studio we own in Kingston, and doesn't get much business. Anyway, this one being in Elephant Castle, right in the heart of, you know, bricks as we call it. We get bookings 2 to 3 a day. It'd be more if they had their way, and they are like 9 out of 10 hip hop, you know, rap. Sometimes that stroke grime type thing. You know, I mean, it's all UK rap now, and you know, just do the bookings all day long, and they never stop. And these guys just continuous. It's weird because they continuously put money my way to do these studio bookings when there's absolutely no urban culture out here at the moment. See, to have a culture, you need a club scene. That's what we had with the drum and bass scene. We even had it before that with the techno scene. It's what we had after drum and bass with the garage scene. You know, a movement, which is the culture, the whole club scene, and the whole movement, the whole following of it, the whole sound, and tracks in the charts and stuff like that. It's everywhere. You can't get away from it. But you don't have that with the hip hop thing right now, because it's, you know, a lot of promoters, the same reason why they packed up in the garage day, because they're not gonna, you know what I'm saying, they're not gonna go with that gun thing. These days, you know, you have to have a million things on your flyer. No caps, no trainers, no tracksuits, no this, no hoodies, no that. It's crazy, just to stop a couple of young'uns coming and banging up the clubs. So what that results in is a fractured scene on the UK hip hop things. But you know, apart from that, there's a market for it in the streets, and it's firing every day. Like I say, they're coming through here. We've done bookings for just about everybody. Big Brothers have been through here, So Solid have been through, DWE and all the Nasty Boys and stuff, Skinny Man, Rodney P, the list goes on and on and on. Shout out to all those cats, by the way. Yeah, and you know what I'm saying, it's just quite sad. The majors, I think the same thing with the majors, with the A&Rs, they're a little bit out of touch with the streets. The guys they employ at these record labels are not what they consider to be street guys. They employ them to kind of, it's their job to know the streets, what's going to be hot, what's worth investing in. And these guys don't really know anyway. They all catch on a year late. And anything other than that, they don't want to know, because it's all gun related and it's going in a negative way. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these guys think that if they got a video on U-Channel, the phone's going to automatically pop off, and the game doesn't work like that. The major record label's only going to invest in a hype that you've created yourself. Maybe if you never created, someone created it, but it's more than likely going to be created by you, and the only way they're going to invest in it is if they can put £1 in back and get 3. Do you know what I'm saying? Put £1 in and get 3. If it's going to break even, or it's going to be, you know, if it's going to attract a controversy, your music's a little bit controversial, they don't want to know. And that's basically the story of it these days. It's a damn shame, but you know, the UK hip-hop urban stroke thing is ready to go. It's ready to fire off as soon as they get their game tight. But back to the dance music. You know, my name is there set. We're known for quality music, and you know, we keep doing quality music, and you know, it's quite good. It's a small puddle, but it's turning over. It's gradually creeping up to like 1,000 sales again. It's 1,000 plus now in the garage scene again. That's the dubstep thing. I do DJ bookings now, which I never used to get before, and I shred clubs with our old classics. And people that have just come into the scene a couple of years ago are coming up to me saying, you know, I've never heard stuff like that before, because it is obviously been done 5-6 years ago. It's obviously different. Maybe a little ahead of its time then, but it's obviously different from what they're doing now. So yeah, it's quite good. We're going to keep that old sound going, because when I walk into clubs nowadays and I hear the DJ on before me, it's you know, the girls are all over at the bar. Do you know what I'm saying? I need everybody up on the dance floor, which is what usually happens, whether you've heard of me or not, which is nice. You know, it's not nothing I'm doing that's amazing. I'm not super DJ at all. I haven't even got decks. I sold them. But it's the songs do the walking by themselves, you know, because it's quality stuff will never die. Do you know what I'm saying? Especially a good song, got no date stamp. There was a day when I used to listen to the Timeless album. I used to listen to Goldie's stuff before I knew who Rob Playford was, which was his engineer, which was the guy that was doing all the button pushing for him. And I used to think, I want to sound like that. That went from a time to sitting in the studio when he was recording the Mother album right next to him, watching, picking up techniques. That went to a time where not only did I know the techniques that Rob Playford was doing for Goldie, but I was able to exceed those. That's being in control of what you do, being able to picture it here and laying it here, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, if you've got the ability to channel that, then good on you, you know, you're talented, you're gifted. But apart from that, the moral in the story is listen, study and learn. I remember being in the bath. I used to go up into the bath on the top floor and put the radio on downstairs. Now I had the radio on Kiss, I had the radio on Capital, so I could listen to them toy pop tunes and listen to their arrangement, how they keep it moving, how they don't never bore you, they keep it, before you know it, you're on another chorus. Before you know it, it's another chorus, and by the end of the tune you just feel like you've been battered by choruses and you can't get the tune out of your head. So whether you're a songwriter or you're a dance music producer, study. There's always a simplicity in beat programming, do you know what I'm saying? And there's always a simplicity in good written pop music, which is the formula they imply in pop music is what it takes to get record sales on a song, really. That verse, bridge, chorus, progression, which I was talking about earlier, and keeping it very basic and catchy. Watching the Reverend Carl Brown in the studio was an experience like no other. He had a completely different technique to anything I've shown you, anything I've ever seen, and it was like totally the opposite to mine. He would, I work on a reasonable level. I don't want to disturb neighbours. He has the speakers continuously bleeding. You're going to bleed his speakers. He's going to leave a loop running and go in the other room and make some food, just so he can, you know, he'll have his tune playtime will probably be about, I don't know, something like, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 days before he actually finishes it. It's crazy techniques. And he would sample literally half-a-second fragments from rare groove tunes and old soul tunes. And obviously he's been working with the great Todd Edwards. Now, maybe a technique he's picked up of him, I don't know. But there'll be a notation in every half-a-second fragment where he takes, and he'll set them to the keyboards, C, D, E, F, G, and so on. So that it may be a half a word on C, and it might be half a piano stab on D. Do you know what I'm saying? But basically, when you stab your way through them, you get that, and it's absolutely crazy. I've never seen nothing like it. So there's many different ways to produce. There's many different ways to produce. Personally, I keep it basic. I don't use any sound cards. Rarely. I don't use any plugins apart from the compressors. Rarely. And that's about it. You know. Just I'm thinking about. I imagine it in my head, and then I lay it, so you can't imagine delays and reverbs and stuff like that. All you can imagine is a groove. So it, you know, it ends up being very basic and significant. I did a DJ set alongside Plastician. He's probably the hottest thing on the grime stroke dubstep because dubstep scene, because what he plays is exactly grime stroke dubstep. He going to give you a nice flavour of each. Anyway, I was alongside him. I did my set, came off. He came on. Now what he came on with was one record and a chip, one of these things, and the peg or whatever they call them. And he's put this into a laptop which they had set up next to the desk, ready and waiting. And he's put his record on the deck and started doing his set. And in between every track, he's looking over at the PC and he's going back to the decks, looking over at the PC, and so on, so on, and so on. Not once did he change the deck, the record. One record, one deck. Not once did he take it off. So eventually, I've leaned over and I've gone, Plas, what are you doing, man? What are you playing the music on? He's got his tunes on MP3 here, say about 100 of them on this. He's dumped this into the PC. The PC somehow is rigged up to the mixer. Now, what his plate was a demo plate, if you like. It's got grooves in the record to follow the needle, so for the needle to follow, so it can pick up when your hand movements. Now, when he put his hand on that demo plate and moved it back and forward, a picture of a record went back and forward on the monitor of the PC. Now, he said, what I do is I just go to the PC, click and drop a list of all the tracks on my peg. I click on what track I want to play next, I go over to the plate, I pull it back and forward, find the start point, and off I go, and it plays. It's a real-time player from the computer connected to the decks. So basically that, I think, is going to save the scene. If you know, skip forward a couple of years and everybody's tired of taking these big back-breaking record bags into do their sets and stuff, which I know I'm tired of it, then you know, everybody's going to come, and it's even a progression from having a little square box with your CDs in and going on a CD mixer, which is great enough, but you got this and one demo plate, and you know what I'm saying, it's just that's the way forward. That way you can, you know, you can download your stuff off of these MP3 sites and all that. It's cheaper, you can hold millions, and we can all, you know, as artists, get the units going again. And then vinyl won't be needed. You'll never have to look back on vinyl. Because they say, you know, it's got the old scratchy original sound, you can't get that same sound, but you know, when you've been digital for a little while, I don't think you really want crackles.